I gave this all up. Now, wandering through vibrant green grass, feeling and hearing the dirt beneath my shoes and the wind upon my face, is only experienced in my dreams. What was once an any-day activity has now turned into fantasy. If I'm lucky enough, I dream of this setting. It's anywhere. More specifically, it's Earth. I'm not exactly sure where. I may have passed by it on a country road in south central Texas, maybe as far as California, or anywhere in between. Perhaps it's a mixture of terrain from the United Kingdom intertwining with the United States that I've seen. Many people think of being homesick as typically experienced by the young, those who have gone off to college or joined the workforce, moved away from hometown and learning the ways of life. But I'm 38, and nothing is a cliche when it's happening to you. I gave this all up for this. As far as the human race has come in our technical achievements, we are certainly primitive on our frontier, though it may not look like it at first glance. When I first imprinted my foot on this soil 533 days ago, I was overwhelmed by how much we, the human race, have advanced in our methods of construction on a planet we have yet to share a war with each other on. In this age, we've managed to establish 8 locations all over our 4th planet, Mars. This location being number 5, Pilate Haven. The first expedition to Mars, brought to you by the good old SpaceX, allowed the teams to blast stadium-sized looking quarries in the red rock. The cliche saying of digging yourself a deeper hole you can't get out of seems too real when you're at the seemingly bottomless pit, like bounded prey at the center of a web, waiting for the darkness to surround you from 8 different ways. The sound of continuous mining explosions is a more powerful signifier of the passage of time than the ticking of a clock. Our advancements are not only surface level and below, but also above. We've been successful at burning a mixture of chemicals and releasing them into our gravity force field 9 miles up from Mars, encompassing each individual sector. This burning of mixed chemicals I don't know much about allows us to walk around the surface of Mars without the need for donning space gear. But I don't trust it. For good reason. I believe someone in particular, by the name of Blaine Heidenreich, is manipulating the chemicals at particular times of the day, and is ultimately responsible for the deaths of several members here at Pilate Haven. Blaine Heidenreich, he used to work in the same field that I'm working in right now, spaceship communications. Here's my office. Simply put, I communicate with inbound and outbound spaceships. Blaine, on the other hand, failed in his duty to be trusted in communications. He became too complacent and let the bottle follow him into work. He didn't take any accountability, and instead of being shipped out for reassignment, they sent Blaine to work at the pizza restaurant that we have here at Pilate Haven. Think of Pilate Haven as having a food court, like in a mall. Well, Blaine is working in the food court section at Giaquinto. He certainly was reprimanded and reassigned to a much different task, one in which he doesn't get paid close to a quarter of what he was making before. But I truly thought he would be booted from Pilate Haven, sent back home, back to Earth. Maybe then I would envy him just a little. Unfortunately, Blaine's family is feeling the effects of lower income. Blaine has sort of spilled the beans or dropped the pie dough on me. We have never really been that great of friends, yet he's been very transparent whenever I would stop by for a slice and a pint. The facade of the pizza restaurant would sound inviting if described in words, but being there and seeing it in person, you'll notice how it's so bleak and soulless, so empty, which mimics the fabricated atmosphere we have constructed here on Mars. I am one of cleanliness and sanitization, but when the aroma of cleaning products overwhelms a location where one would consume food, that's detrimental to the human psyche. And I believe it prevents further motivation for those who are assigned here for 2 years. Worse yet, those years are based off of the orbital velocity of Mars. 1 year here on Mars consists of 687 days. Pilate Haven has the highest suicide rate out of all of the other locations here on Mars. That is, if you believe they are truly suicides. I am very certain Blaine has everything to do with each victim. A mixture of cyanide was found in the first victim, who looked as if he was resting peacefully in the corner of Giaquinto. This was chalked up as a suicide. Simple as that, they didn't look into it any further. The next victim, that was not ruled a suicide, she was found outside near mining entrance 2. This cause of death was believed to be an atmosphere integrity fault. But I know Blaine has somehow learned how to tamper with our habitable atmosphere system. A few more days went by, and a few other suicides occurred, and 3 others also succumbed to the atmosphere integrity fault. As stated, I never had the courage to trust our fabricated atmosphere system. I've only been outside once, and that was for my welcoming tour over 500 days ago. The 3-day-old lockdown mandate and outside maintenance tasks being halted has allowed me another reason to not go outside. Though I'm lonely. Many of the workers here were evacuated for R&R to High Noon Providence, one of our ships partially utilized to recuperate and build back morale before returning back to one's assigned duty station. I, however, need to stay here as labeled as a highly essential personnel. With Blaine working the food court alone, it is me and Alan working in communications, and the remaining personnel are in Bravo sector, 620 meters away from me. The mining team is even further. But where is Alan? I haven't seen Alan in a while. He was supposed to relieve me 45 minutes ago, and I'm suspicious. I went to briefly look for Alan in one of our recreational rooms, but one of the corridors was locked. I have never seen these doors locked before. They are typically used for emergencies to prevent contamination. As I stood there, looking down the now segmented corridor, I began to feel my blood boil in fright to the thought of what might be happening. Has Blaine locked me out of the rest of the East Wing facility? How could he possibly override security? Our recreational room was to the east wing of the facility, as well as the food court. The typical and subtle vibration of the corridor's platform to its audible hum and the visual ghostly steam started making me feel as if I was a static 1-inch action figure standing on top of a leaking and burning car battery. Though I felt so cold. I needed to evade before my time was up, and something as troubling as a mutant alligator could be on the other side of the locked door. Of course, that was an entity I created in my head, as long as it wasn't Blaine, who I truly believed to be the force that be. Blaine's voice on the other side of the door confirmed his presence.
I can hear you breathing. Alan doesn't feel too good. Must be something he ate. He sure loved that supreme pizza.
My guess is that Alan would be determined as another Pilate Haven suicide victim once someone else discovers his body in the East Wing. I muted my breathing as best as possible so Blaine couldn't hear me anymore, and I slowly started pacing back to my office, only to find the communication to Bravo Sector had been disabled. Miraculously, only 1 second went by until I conjured up a new plan to link up with the mining team. It would be a mad dash through unfamiliar mines, but I knew I was to be Blaine's next victim. For what? Who knows? His pride in his kill count? I unlocked the thick metal door for Mine Section 6 and was greeted with the sickly damp hickory and pinyon smoky smell. Between the corridor vapors and the scent of the mines, my brain felt to be swimming in a tidal wave. After spending 500 days in the facility, this is as close to organic Mars rock as I've been. And I finally got to see, for the first time, on a large pipe, some excess of the vibrant yellow and orange raw liquid we use to burn for our man-made atmosphere. I tried to find a way to jam the metal door, but no luck. While this door is not connected to the security system, I wish it was, now that I am through it and further from Blaine. It was time for me to sprint to the miners. I turned around and looked down the dark mine tunnel. I opened my eyes wider in hopes to somehow activate some type of enhanced human instinct vision. If only. I felt the abrasive rock walls of Mars, finally imprinting myself on our 4th terrestrial planet. I just wish this was some Jovian planet where I could sink through some liquid metal and it would all be over. My wishes never do come true. I continued feeling and looking for any stoop or mine shaft or any form of light. I proceeded through the mine tunnel, with my breathing being the only thing making me feel alive. A half hour went by. I noticed the mining had stopped. Are the miners done for the day? Or I had no way to communicate with them. Even if I do get to their location, will they be... No, I don't want to think about it. I need to meet up with them face to face. Ugh, how I hate this place. Then I heard what I feared I would hear behind me. door opened.
Ollie, oxen free.
Blaine was inside the mine tunnel with me. I felt like I had been walking for miles down the mine, but he sounded as if he was standing on the other side of a street. It's either me or him. As for you, don't ever come here.